Hello again, friends. Welcome back to Stacey Can. I'm going to talk to you about a few tricks and tips that I've learned, or actually more tips throughout the years. And also these are on all of the resources and websites that I've mentioned in earlier episodes. So the one thing you're going to really want to know is that after each time you're done processing a batch of jars on either the water bath canner or the pressure canner, you have to add more water. On your pressure canner, you have to dump it and start fresh every time because it's only 2 to 4 inches of water depending on the recipe and what you're doing. With the water bath canner, you're just going to lose some water through evaporation. So I also reuse the water unless, of course, I have a jar that's broken and I have to, just dump it out and start all over again. Or sometimes if I'm doing pickling, it can get really vinegary smelling after 3 to 5 usages, and then I just dump it and start over again. Okay, headspace. The headspace after you are done processing the jars and you take them out of the canners, often even though you'd put up an inch here, the headspace will vary. Sometimes there'll be less liquid in there. Sometimes there'll be a little bit more liquid in there. It often depends on the food items that you have in there. Sometimes some of the vegetables have more liquid than others, etc. So that's okay. That's fine. Don't worry about that. A motto, good one. When in doubt, throw it out. Okay. If you look at something and you feel off, just trust your intuition and dump it. Just dump it. Okay. It's fine. It's better than, especially with your low acid foods. It's better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Botulism is a real thing, so you do need to be cautious of that. Okay. If the lid, when you're taking the rings off, if the lid comes off of your jar, you never had a true seal to begin with. So you can clean the rim, put a new lid on the jar and a new ring, and reprocess it per the recipe instructions. Or you can stick it in the refrigerator. Often with low acid foods, if that's happened with me with green beans, we just boil them up and eat them that night. Or with jams, etc., I just stick them in the refrigerator like I normally do with regular store-bought jam. And you can leave it in the refrigerator and consume it within however period of time. So just keep that in mind with the lids and the rings. It's important that you have a good solid seal. When it comes to pickling, you have to use a 5% alcohol. Vinegar. Alcohol sounds great though too. You have to use 5% vinegar, okay? You can't, which is in your white and your apple cider vinegars. You can't use rice vinegar, that's 3%. Red wine vinegars are often 3% acidity, okay? It's got to, and it'll say right on the label, it'll say on the label 5%. So and I'm looking for it. It's often in the ingredients section, 5% acidity. So keep that in mind. If it says 3%, I would double check that. I would look at the other resources because you're not going to get a good preservation on your food items there. So when it comes to lemon juice, if it calls for lemon juice, you can't use fresh lemons. Okay, the pH in the levels from one fruit to the next varies too much. When you buy bottled lemon juice from the store, the pH is consistent from bottle to bottle, and you'll have a better preservation. You'll just get solid preservation in that capacity with bottled lemon juice. Okay, so you got to store buy it. Don't use fresh squeezed. Okay, and also when you are taking the jars, again, I've mentioned it before, but when you're taking them out of the canner and the ring looks loose, don't retighten it. Just leave it as is. You could compromise the gasket. You could kind of twist the lid on there and loosen it too much, okay? Just leave it as is. It's fine. And you can double check all of that when you're done. Well, there's my puppy dog. Hi, Bobo. So that is a few tips and tricks. By all means, check out my website at www.stacey.com if you have some additional questions. Please like and subscribe the page here. If you have additional questions, comments, suggestions, concerns, whatever, you can also check me out on Facebook, Stacey Can. You can check me out at Instagram. You can @ me there, @StaceyCan, and my email is info@staceycancan.com. And happy canning, and I look forward to hearing about your canning ventures.